This video is sponsored by BearMotion. Find great LG G2 cases at bearmotioncase.com. What is up everyone, it is Gadget Guru HD here, and in this video I have you all my review of the new LG G2. This is the AT&T variant here, so be sure to check out the link below in the description to where you can pick this up. Now the first thing that we're going to be discussing here is the specs. So the LG G2 is powered by the new quad-core Snapdragon 800 by Qualcomm. And this thing is an absolute beast. It's one of the first devices to be using it, and the Snapdragon 800 is no slouch. In terms of the graphics this uses, it's the Adreno 330, which is also quite impressive. In terms of the day-to-day usage with the LG G2, I was impressed. I found that some of the animations and the other gimmicky features did give the device a little bit of lag here and there, similar to one I experienced on the Galaxy S4. It wasn't really a big deal, but I was able to eliminate this by simply installing Nova Launcher, which wasn't an issue because it is my launcher of choice anyway. But most people wouldn't really notice a few stutters here and there and a little bit of lag. For those of you that would be upgrading from a phone that's older than a year or two, then this will really be a major upgrade, and these lags that I'm talking about really aren't that big of a deal, just minor little skips here and there. Without a doubt, one of the most important things about any product is the display, because what use is an ultra powerful processor and an enormous battery if the screen quality isn't up to par? One of my favorite parts of the LG G2 is definitely the screen. It's a 5.2 inch IPS display featuring 1080p resolution with 424 pixels per inch. The screen is nothing short of amazing, the blacks are black and the whites are white. Apple is no longer the leader with its Retina display, as competitors like LG, Samsung, and HTC step up their game. Another nice addition is the on-screen buttons, which will allow you to get the maximum screen real estate out of the device when watching movies or video in landscape mode. The battery powering this phone is 3000 milliamps, so it will easily get you through a full day's worth of usage. I use my phone pretty heavily and kept the screen brightness at about 60% and was able to last a full day, which is 5 AM in the morning to about 6 in the evening. Unfortunately, the G2 doesn't have a removable battery, but for me this isn't an issue since the battery is so large. However, those of you that are on your phone 24/7 and use like 6 hours of on-screen time, you may want to look elsewhere. But the other 95% of the population should be more than fine with the battery life on the G2. Now the design of the LG G2 is absolutely great. I prefer the look and feel of the G2 over the Galaxy S4 simply because it looks so clean. I myself am not really a huge fan of the physical home button on the Galaxy S4 and prefer the on-screen buttons of the G2, which looks great when the phone's locked. On the other hand, the phone doesn't look or feel as good as the aluminum HTC One or even iPhone 5S. Now when you take a look around the G2, down at the bottom you have your micro USB ports and also the headphone jack. All other sides of the device are completely bare, which makes the phone pleasing and clean to look at. The back of the phone is where you'll find the power button and also your volume rockers. Many people have been freaking out about having buttons on the back of their phone, but I think it isn't really that bad of an idea. In fact, I think it's actually a good one. Now of course LG has done multiple studies and tons of research to back up their decision, but at the end of the day it's consumers like you and me that will ultimately decide whether it was a good change for the placement of the volume rockers and power button. Now I myself don't really have a huge stance in this situation, because for me, I'm kind of on both sides. There are many people that really love the button placement on the LG G2, and I've actually gotten used to it, but there are times where I have to adjust where I hold the phone, simply because depending on how large your hands are, it may be a bit uncomfortable. With that being said, I would highly recommend going to your local store to check and see how you like the location of the buttons, but remember, you may hate them at first like I did, but they do definitely grow on you. One of the few software features that I actually enjoy and use every day is the double tap of the screen to unlock your device. This is something I found myself using all the time and led me to rarely use the power button. I would really love something like this to be implemented into other custom skins and stock Android, because it's a feature that I would really have a tough time getting rid of. The only potential cons of this device are the lack of expandable storage, lack of a removable battery, the button placement, and for those that don't like it, the on-screen buttons. And I'm really not a huge fan of the LG custom skin, but that's just an issue with the phone itself. Now, I've really enjoyed using the LG G2, and it's definitely a great device for anyone that really wants to future-proof themselves for the next 2 years. Things like the Adreno 330 processor, things like the Snapdragon 800, and the beautiful 5.2-inch screen aren't going to go out of style for very long. However, we will probably see the Nexus 5 this October, so I'd recommend possibly waiting a little bit to see how that pans out. That right there does pretty much wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe for updates on future videos, and remember to check out our website GadgetGuruHD.com, where we post daily news content and reviews like this. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you guys in the next video.